Beloved, I want you to understand this truth. Life is not against you, it is for you. The good you long for, the joy, the peace, the abundance, it is not distant. It is already moving toward you, for it has been yours since the very moment you desired it. You see, the moment a seed is planted, the harvest is guaranteed. It may not rise from the soil in an instant, but the life within it is certain. So it is with your desires. When you accepted them inwardly, when you dared to imagine them real, they began their journey to you. Good things are not just coming, they are already here in the unseen, waiting for the right season to appear. Do not question your worthiness. Too often, you place conditions on your own blessings. I must do more, I must be more, I must prove myself. Yet the truth is this, you are born deserving. Existence itself is proof enough. You deserve love because you are love. You deserve abundance because you are an expression of infinite supply. You deserve peace because peace is your true nature. So I tell you, lift your eyes inwardly, expect the best, and let your heart rest in that expectation. Patience is not weakness. It is the certainty that what belongs to you cannot be taken. Your task is simple. Live as though it has already arrived. Speak with the confidence of one who has received. Feel the gratitude of one whose hands are already full. And as you walk in this faith, the world outside will bend to match the world within. The doors will open, the opportunities will rise, the blessings will flow. Not because you chased them, but because you prepared a place for them in your heart. So remember this, good things are coming. They are yours because you dared to claim them, and most importantly, you deserve them. The unseen is more real than the seen, and this is a truth that only those who dare to look beyond appearances can understand. What you touch, what you see, and what you call reality is nothing more than the shadow of a deeper cause. Every circumstance in your life began as an unseen idea, a thought, a quiet imagination within you or someone else. The house you live in was first a sketch in the mind of an architect. The clothes you wear were once a design floating in someone's imagination. Even the phone in your hand was once invisible, nothing but an idea resting in the unseen. Yet here they are, tangible, visible, real to the senses. The invisible gave birth to the visible, and it always will. When you imagine with faith, you are shaping the unseen. You are calling into being what does not yet appear to your senses, but which already exists in a higher reality. You may think your desire is far away, yet the moment you dare to believe in it, you have already touched it in the invisible. Faith is the bridge that carries it from the unseen into the seen. It is not a question of if it will appear, but only of when. Just as the seed contains within it the certainty of the tree, your faith carries within it the certainty of your desire fulfilled. Too often people doubt the unseen because it cannot be measured, weighed, or proven to others. They cling only to what their eyes show them, and they say, I will believe it when I see it. But the law of life works the other way. You see it because you first believe it. The unseen is the cause, the seen is the effect. To wait for proof before believing is to shut the door on the very power that creates proof. Think of your imagination as the workshop of creation. When you enter into the state of your wish fulfilled, when you picture yourself already living the life you long for, you are planting the invisible seed. Every time you return to that inner vision with trust, you water the seed. Every time you rest in the feeling that it is already so, you allow the unseen to work on your behalf. And just as no farmer doubts that his seed will rise when planted in good soil, so you must not doubt that your unseen imaginings are already on their way to you. The unseen does not lie. It may take time to unfold. It may arrive in ways you do not expect, but it cannot fail. What you imagine with faith will crystallize into the world of matter. That is why it is said that the unseen is more real than the seen, for the seen changes, fades, and passes away, but the unseen remains eternal, the source of all appearances. So trust the unseen. Hold to your inner vision more firmly than you hold to what the senses tell you. For what you imagine with faith is not wishful thinking, it is creation. And soon, the world you now call invisible will step forward and become the very reality you live in. Your inner state is the blueprint of your world, the silent architect of every experience you encounter. The life you live on the outside is not random, it is the mirror of what you carry within. When your inner state is filled with fear, doubt, and unworthiness, your world reflects back experiences that match those feelings. But when your inner state rests in faith, peace, and expectation of good, the outer world bends to bring you blessings. Nothing comes into your life until it is first accepted inwardly. The truth is, you do not receive what you want, you receive what you are. To understand this, imagine a radio. It does not pull every sound from the air, it only receives the frequency to which it is tuned. Likewise, your inner state is your frequency. If you wish to experience good things, you must first tune your inner state to the feeling of already having them. Desire is not enough. Alignment is what brings manifestation. You may say, I want abundance, but if inwardly you are filled with worry, lack, and resistance, then your life will echo those inner feelings. But the moment you inwardly accept abundance as natural, as already yours, your life begins to shift to meet that acceptance. Acceptance is not begging, nor is it desperate wishing. It is quiet assurance. It is the calm acknowledgement that what you desire is already moving toward you because you have already received it in consciousness. Think of a gift that someone has promised you. Even before it arrives, you rest in the certainty that it is yours. You may not see it yet, but you live in the joy of expectation. That is the inner state that draws good things. The world cannot resist a mind that has already accepted its blessings. Life will move circumstances, people, and events to mirror the inner conviction you carry. If you feel loved within, you will attract love without. If you feel wealthy within, opportunities for wealth will appear. If you feel peace within, the outer storms of life cannot disturb you. Your inner state is not just influencing your world, it is creating it. This is why changing outer conditions without first changing your inner state never lasts. You may force an outer result for a time, but if inwardly you still carry the old state of fear or lack, the world will eventually collapse back to that state. Real transformation begins inwardly. The outer world follows like a shadow. So his analogy, if you long for good things, begin by accepting them within. Let your imagination dwell on the life you desire, not as a dream, but as a present reality. Feel the joy of it, the gratitude of it, and rest in the truth that it is already yours. This inner acceptance is not small, it is everything. The moment you embody the state of having, the outer world must rearrange itself to reflect it. The world is your mirror. It does not argue, it does not resist, it simply reflects. Accept good things inwardly, and soon you will see them everywhere you turn. Expectation is the silent force that shapes your life, the key that unlocks the door to every blessing waiting for you. What you expect, you prepare for, and what you prepare for, you receive. Life does not give you what you casually wish for, it gives you what you deeply assume will be yours. Your expectation is the invitation you send to the unseen, calling it into your visible world. If you expect little, you prepare for little, and little comes. But if you expect the best, you open the way for the best to enter. Expectation is not empty hope. It is not wishful thinking. It is the quiet assurance that something good is already on its way. It is the difference between a person who plants a seed and anxiously wonders if it will ever grow, and the farmer who plants and then calmly prepares for harvest. The farmer expects the seed to rise. He prepares the barn for the crop before he sees a single sprout. That expectation becomes a prophecy fulfilled. In the same way, when you assume that good things are certain, you prepare the inner and outer conditions for them to appear. Many live in the state of doubt and wonder why life seems to hold back its blessings. They expect disappointment, so it comes. They expect rejection, so it meets them. They expect delay, so life gives them delay. Expectation is the soil into which every experience grows. Change the soil, and the harvest must change. When you expect goodness, you align yourself with the unseen forces that arrange events, people, and opportunities in your favor. Think of the times when you eagerly expected something, perhaps a letter, a phone call, or the arrival of a loved one. Every sound, every movement stirred your anticipation. You were awake, alert, and open. Expectation sharpened your awareness and made you ready to receive. So it is with the blessings of life. When you expect them, you become sensitive to the doors that open, the opportunities that present themselves, and the paths that lead you to fulfillment. Without expectation, you walk past those doors and never notice. Expectation also reveals your faith. To expect is to declare, I know it is already mine. You do not wait with worry or fear, you wait with assurance. This is the vibration that life responds to. If you desire abundance, expect it. Live as though it is already weaving its way to you. If you desire love, expect it. Let your heart prepare the space for it, knowing it cannot miss you. If you desire peace, expect it. Refuse to prepare for chaos. What you prepare for reveals what you truly believe is coming. So I say to you, dare to expect the best. Do not lower your vision to match your current circumstances. Lift your eyes inwardly and assume that good things are written in your story. The moment you expect, the moment you prepare, the way is cleared. Life cannot resist a mind that is already living in joyful anticipation. Expectation is the key. Turn it and watch the door swing open to the good that has always been yours. You are worthy without conditions. This is the truth that most struggle to accept. For from childhood you were taught that love, success, and happiness must be earned. You were told you must achieve enough, work hard enough, or prove yourself valuable enough before you could deserve the good things of life. But this is the greatest illusion. For worthiness is not earned. It is your natural inheritance. The very fact that you exist is proof that you are already deserving. Nothing you do or fail to do can add to or take away from the worth that is built into your being. Look at the sun. It shines without asking permission, without needing to earn its right to light the sky. Look at the ocean. It does not beg to be vast, it simply is. A flower does not question whether it deserves to bloom, nor does a tree wonder if it has earned the right to bear fruit. All of nature simply expresses its essence, and in that expression it fulfills its purpose. You too are part of this creation, and you were not sent into the world to prove your worth. You were sent here to live it. The belief that you must earn what is already yours is what keeps so many in struggle. They chase after love while feeling unworthy of being loved. They chase after abundance while believing deep inside they are undeserving of wealth. They beg for peace while secretly thinking they do not deserve rest. And so life mirrors back their inner state, withholding what they themselves are pushing away through doubt. The truth is, you deserve love because you are love in human form. You deserve abundance because the very source from which you come is limitless. You deserve peace because peace is your natural state, buried only by layers of fear and striving. There is nothing you must prove, nothing you must accomplish before you are allowed to receive. The only requirement is acceptance, the willingness to claim what has always been yours. Imagine a child in a house filled with food, Yet the child believes they must starve unless they prove themselves. All the nourishment is already there, but the belief in unworthiness blocks them from reaching out and taking it. So it is with you. The universe is already overflowing with the good you long for, but until you see yourself as worthy, you will not allow yourself to receive it. Worthiness is the key that unlocks the door. Not action, not effort, not merit, simply knowing that you already deserve. Release the old lies. Let go of the idea that you are not enough. Your being is enough. You do not need to strive to earn what has been given freely from the beginning of time. Stand tall in your birthright. Walk in the truth that nothing is withheld from you except what you withhold from yourself. And as you embody this knowing, life will reflect it back in love, abundance, peace, and joy. You are worthy without condition. You always have been. You always will be. Patience is not weakness. It is one of the greatest powers you can possess. In a world that glorifies haste, striving, and constant effort, patience is often misunderstood as passivity. But true patience is not waiting with frustration. It is the calm assurance that what belongs to you is already secure. Patience is knowing that what you desire cannot be lost, and that life unfolds in perfect time. It is the quiet strength of one who trusts the unseen more than the noise of the present moment. Everything in creation reveals the wisdom of patience. The seed planted in the soil does not bear fruit overnight, yet the tree is already contained within it. The farmer does not dig up the seed in doubt, nor does he panic when days pass without change. He waits because he understands that growth is a process and time is not his enemy but his ally. Likewise, every desire you hold has already been planted in the unseen. To demand its immediate appearance is to forget that unfolding is part of the miracle. What is yours is not in danger. It is germinating, aligning, and preparing to reveal itself at the perfect moment. Impatience is born of fear, the fear that perhaps life has overlooked you, that perhaps you are not worthy, or that perhaps what you long for will never arrive. But patience arises from faith, the deep knowing that your blessing is secure. To be patient is to say, I already have it. It is done. I may not see it yet, but it cannot miss me. This is not weakness. It is the greatest demonstration of inner strength. Consider how many times in your life something came later than you wanted, but proved to be perfect when it arrived. You may have been spared disappointment, heartbreak, or missed opportunity simply because life arranged the timing with greater wisdom than your impatience could have allowed. There is a rhythm to existence, a divine timing that moves beyond your schedule, and when you align with it, everything falls into place effortlessly. To rush the process is to interfere with what is being perfectly prepared for you. Patience also keeps you steady in the present moment. Instead of living in anxiety, you live in trust. Instead of grasping and chasing, you rest in the assurance that what is meant for you cannot pass you by. That relationship, that opportunity, that dream, it is already yours. Life is simply arranging the circumstances for its unfolding. And when it comes, it will come with a perfection that no amount of rushing could have created. So I tell you, see patience not as waiting in lack, but as resting in abundance. You are not waiting for something outside of you to arrive. You are allowing what already belongs to you to come forth. Patience is the power of alignment, the proof of faith, and the key to peace. Trust the timing of your life, for nothing that is yours can ever be lost. It may not come when you demand it, but it will come when it can bless you fully. And when it does, you will understand why patience was always power. To live from the end is to enter into the state of your desire as if it were already accomplished. It is not about waiting for tomorrow to bring you the evidence, but about claiming the feeling of it now. This is the great secret. The outer world does not create your inner state. Your inner state creates the outer world. If you desire to experience joy, abundance, love, or peace tomorrow, you must begin to feel it today. To live from the end is to declare with your being, it is already mine, and to rest in the assurance of that truth. When you live from the end, you stop chasing, you stop pleading, you stop doubting. You begin to walk, speak, and think as the person who already has what you seek. Imagine a traveler who has already arrived at their destination. They do not wonder if they are on the way, they know they are there. So it is with your desires. The moment you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you have already arrived inwardly, and the outer world cannot help but follow. And this principle is like stepping into a role. An actor who takes on a part does not merely recite lines. They embody the character. They feel what that character would feel. They think as that character would think. They live from the end of the script. Likewise, you must embody the state of your fulfilled desire. If you long for wealth, begin to think, feel, and move as though wealth were already your reality. If you long for love, carry yourself as one who is already cherished and valued. If you long for peace, let your actions flow from a heart already at rest. The world outside is slow to change because it is a reflection, and reflection always follows the original. Your imagination is the original, your belief the cause. When you persist in living from the end, you hold the pattern steady, and the outer world eventually reflects it back to you. This is why it is not enough to merely wish for something. You must enter into its state and remain there until it feels natural. What you accept inwardly will one day be undeniable outwardly. Living from the end also frees you from worry. If you already possess something inwardly, you no longer fear losing it or questioning when it will come. You walk with a quiet confidence, knowing it is secured. Just as a person who has received a promise from a trusted friend does not anxiously wonder if it will be kept, so you must rest in the promise of your imagination. The unseen has already delivered it. Time is only the process of unveiling. So begin now. Whatever you desire to experience tomorrow, clothe yourself in the feeling of it today. Let your mind rehearse the joy, your heart embrace the gratitude, and your soul rest in the certainty of fulfillment. This is not pretending, it is creating. To live from the end is to live as though your highest desire were already real, and in doing so you draw it into form. Tomorrow simply becomes the echo of what you dared to embody today. So, my friend, let this truth settle deep within you. The unseen is greater than the seen. Your inner state shapes your world. Your expectation is the key. Your worthiness is without condition. Patience is your power, and living from the end is the doorway to your new reality. Nothing is withheld from you. The life you dream of is not beyond your reach. It is already yours in spirit, waiting for your acceptance. Walk with faith, walk with confidence, and walk with gratitude, knowing that good things are not only coming, they are already here. Thank you for opening your heart and mind to these words. May you carry them with you not as ideas to remember, but as truths to live by. And as you do, may you see your world transform in ways more beautiful than you could have ever imagined. The blessing you never expected is about to arrive. It will come softly, almost unnoticed at first, and then it will flood your life with such certainty that you will wonder why you ever doubted. Life is always responding to the state you live in, not to the struggles you carry. When you shift your inner posture, when you quietly assume that you are already favored, already chosen, already provided for, the unseen begins to move in your favor. Do not look at the outer world as if it holds the power. The outer is only a mirror, reflecting back the inner assumptions you have entertained. The true source of your blessing is invisible, moving beyond logic, beyond reason, beyond what your senses can measure. You may not see it yet, but it is already shaping itself in silence, preparing to meet you. The most astonishing gifts are rarely the ones you expected. They arrive through channels you never could have designed with your limited mind. A stranger's word, a chance encounter, a door that seemed locked suddenly swings open. This is not chance. It is the natural outworking of the state you have dared to embody. When you stop worrying about when and how, you remove the chains that hold your blessing back. Faith is not struggle. It is not begging, pleading, or pushing against the current. Faith is rest. It is standing still in the quiet, knowing that what belongs to you cannot miss you. What you assume within, the world without is compelled to echo. So live as though the blessing is already yours. Feel the relief now. Let the gratitude rise before the gift appears in your hands. In that inner celebration, you have already received it. And because inner reality is the seed of outer expression, the world must bring it to you. The blessing you never expected is not far away. It is already here, waiting for your recognition. Do not limit how it arrives, only rest in the joy that it will. In due time, you will stand in awe at how perfectly it unfolded, and you will know it was always yours. Expectation is not required. Many believe that blessings come only when they wait, anticipate, or hold on tightly to a picture of how life must unfold. But life does not move by your logic, nor does it bend to the timelines of your anxious expectation. Blessings are not born from the effort of your outer striving. They are summoned by the quiet authority of your inner state. What you carry within, what you assume to be true, becomes the magnet that pulls unseen currents into visible form. You may sit and say, I expect this good thing to happen, but that very expectation often carries with it the hidden weight of doubt. To expect is to lean forward, to wait, to look at the horizon, wondering when it will come. But when you lean into expectation, you reveal that you do not yet believe it is yours. You treat it as distant, as something apart from you, and in doing so, you delay it. Life does not answer the words you speak with your lips. It answers the state you embody in silence. A true blessing comes not because you expected it, but because you already lived in the reality where it was normal. To the one who embodies wealth within, the outer world arranges itself to reflect prosperity. To the one who carries love in their inner state, companionship and harmony flow naturally into their life. To the one who quietly assumes favor, opportunities appear without warning. These things do not come because of expectation. They come because of embodiment. There is a great difference between waiting for something and resting in the knowing that it is already yours. Expectation waits and watches, but inner knowing simply lives. It does not glance at the clock. It does not ask when or how. It walks through the day in quiet satisfaction, aware that what is real within must eventually appear without. And it is in this stillness, this ease, that blessings often come most unexpectedly, as if by surprise. Think of the times in your life when something good happened without warning. Perhaps an opportunity arose, a person entered your world, or a situation resolved itself in ways you never could have planned. Those moments were not the fruit of your constant expectation. They were the outpicturing of a deeper state you held within. Even unconsciously, you were aligned with it, and life had no choice but to deliver. Expectation can tire you. It can turn the blessing into a distant prize, always around the corner, never here now. But when you step out of expectation and into assumption, the game changes. You stop waiting and you start living. You stop stretching your eyes toward tomorrow, and you begin to feel the joy of the answered prayer already present. And it is that joy, that relief, that resting in already, which makes the invisible visible. So release the idea that you must expect, wait, or strain for your blessings. They are not tied to your effort or your watchful gaze. They flow naturally from who you are within. When you dare to live as though it is already done, you call forth blessings that exceed your expectation, for expectation is not required, assumption is enough. And in assumption, the blessing arrives with perfect timing, often when you least expect it, yet always when you are most aligned. The invisible source is the origin of every blessing you have ever received and every blessing that is on its way to you now. What is unseen holds more power than what your eyes can measure. The physical world is only a shadow, a reflection of something deeper, something beyond the senses, the currents that move life forward, the forces that shape events, and the subtle arrangements that bring people and opportunities together all begin in the realm you cannot touch. If you anchor yourself only in what you can see, you live in limitation. But when you dare to trust the unseen, you align yourself with a power that is limitless. Look around at the visible world. Every building, every invention, every relationship, every achievement you admire first existed in the unseen. It began as an idea, a vision, a silent assumption in the mind. What you now call real was once invisible. And so it is with the blessing that is forming for you right now. You may not see it yet. You may not know the channel it will flow through, but it is moving toward you in silence. Like the roots of a tree hidden beneath the soil, unseen growth is preparing to break through into visible expression. The mistake many make is to doubt the unseen because it feels intangible. They look for outer signs, for proof, for evidence, and when they cannot find it, they assume nothing is happening. But the unseen does not bow to impatience. It moves in its own rhythm, weaving connections, softening hearts, and opening doors behind the curtain of life. What seems like a delay is often preparation. The invisible current is arranging details you cannot yet imagine, ensuring that when the blessing arrives, it will be perfect and undeniable. To trust the unseen is to walk with confidence when the path looks empty. It is to rest in the assurance that life is always working behind the scenes in your favor. You may not know how, but the how is not your concern. Your only task is to remain faithful to the inner knowing that the unseen source is real and it never fails. If you look only at the visible, you may despair. But if you hold fast to the invisible, you stand firm in peace. Consider how the air itself is unseen, yet it gives you life with every breath. You do not question whether it will be there when you inhale. You trust it without thought. In the same way, the unseen source that governs life provides for you without fail. You cannot see the mechanism, but you can rest in the effect. The unseen is not weak. It is the wellspring of all strength. Your blessing is already set in motion, though your eyes may not confirm it yet. Learn to value the invisible as greater than the visible, for it is the cause, while the visible is only the effect. Trust that unseen current. It is arranging, aligning, and preparing to reveal what belongs to you. Soon what was hidden will stand before you in undeniable form, and you will know that the unseen was always more powerful than the seen. A shift in assumption is the most powerful change you can ever make, for it determines the entire course of your life. Life does not conform to effort alone, nor does it bend to the endless worries of the mind. It mirrors the assumptions you quietly hold within yourself. What you assume to be true, whether good or bad, is the seed that grows into your outer experience. To assume is not merely to wish, nor is it to hope with doubt. Assumption is acceptance. It is living inwardly as though what you desire is already accomplished, as though the outcome is already sealed in your favor. Most people live in the shadow of fear and doubt, assuming without realizing it that life is against them. They wake expecting struggle, assuming lack, preparing for disappointment. And because the law of life is to reflect the inner state, these assumptions take form. They see hardship not because it was destined, but because it was assumed. The mind quietly whispers, things never work out, and the world echoes back, yes, that is true. The outer is only an obedient servant to the inner command. But what happens when you shift your assumption? When you rise in the morning and say, not with lips, but with inner knowing, life is for me, doors are opening, blessings are mine already. Without struggle, without force, without even announcing it aloud, the law is set in motion. Life cannot resist the inner decree. Circumstances, people, and opportunities rearrange themselves in harmony with your new state of being. This shift does not require public effort. It happens in the privacy of your imagination, in the stillness of your thoughts before sleep, in the quiet moments when you choose to feel the end already fulfilled. In those small moments, the inner law is written, and once written, it must be expressed. You may not see the change at once, but like a seed planted beneath the soil, the new assumption begins its silent work. Soon the evidence appears, and the world seems to shift in your favor. The beauty of this law is that it does not require proof before belief. In fact, proof follows belief. If you wait for the world to show you change before you assume it, you will wait endlessly. But when you dare to assume without evidence, you compel evidence to appear. It cannot be otherwise. The outer is powerless except to mirror the inner state you embody. So shift gently. Assume that life loves you, that it conspires for your good, that blessings are prepared and on their way. Do not force the thought. Simply rest in it as if it were the most natural thing in the world. For what you accept as normal within must soon appear as normal without. Your life is not bound by yesterday's assumptions. In this very moment, you hold the power to shift, to enter a new state, to live as though the blessing is already complete. And when you do, life has no choice but to align. The outer world is clay in the hands of your inner law. And when you shape your assumption, you shape your destiny. Surprise manifestations are the sweetest proof that life responds to your inner state in ways far beyond your logical understanding. The greatest blessings rarely come through the doors you are watching. Instead, they appear from unexpected directions, woven into the fabric of life so perfectly that when they arrive, you realize they could not have come any other way. What your rational mind struggles to calculate, the unseen intelligence arranges with effortless precision. The surprise is not that it came, but that it came in a form you never could have scripted. The human mind loves prediction. It wants to know how, when, and through whom the blessing will arrive. It creates narrow channels, deciding that it must come from this person, this job, this path, and yet the moment you limit the how, you close yourself off from the infinite channels available to you. The unseen is never confined to your reasoning. It delights in moving through unlikely avenues, making use of what you would call coincidence or chance. But nothing is chance. Every so-called coincidence is simply the outworking of your inner state. Think back on the moments in your life when something remarkable occurred. A door opened when you least expected it. A connection appeared that seemed random, or a long-standing problem dissolved in a way you never imagined. At the time, you may have called it luck or fate, but in truth, it was your inner assumption clothed in form. You had aligned yourself inwardly with the feeling of being provided for, and life expressed that alignment in the outer world. The surprise was not random, it was precise. This is why you must learn to let go of the need to control the details. Your role is not to manage the process, but to assume the end. You need not dictate the channel through which your blessing arrives. Simply dwell in the state of already having it, and then rest. In that rest, the unseen begins to move in ways you cannot anticipate. The blessing may come through a conversation overheard, an encounter on the street, or a sudden shift in circumstances that turns what seemed like a loss into a greater gain. Surprise manifestations reveal the generosity of life. They show you that the unseen is not bound by your imagination but exceeds it. What you consider impossible is often the very path chosen, because impossibility to the mind is no obstacle to the unseen. The blessing that finds you will not only align with your desire, but often surpass it, proving that the inner law works with a wisdom far deeper than human logic. So do not concern yourself with trying to predict or control the outcome. Leave the how and the when in the hands of the invisible. Your task is to remain faithful to the inner state, to feel yourself already blessed, already whole, already provided for. From that quiet confidence, manifestations will come, sometimes slowly, sometimes suddenly, but always in a form that fits perfectly. And when they arrive, you will smile in awe at the mystery of it all, realizing that the blessing was always yours, though it chose to surprise you on its way into form. Faith without struggle is the quiet assurance that life delivers what is yours without the need for constant effort, worry, or control. Too often we believe that by holding tightly, by forcing circumstances, or by endlessly trying to manipulate outcomes, we can bring blessings into being. But this clinging and forcing is rooted in fear, not faith. True faith is rest. It is the calm certainty that what belongs to you cannot pass you by. And paradoxically, the moment you stop straining, what you desire finds the fastest route into your life. The struggle comes from believing you must do everything yourself, that you are the sole architect of every detail. You worry about the how and the when, as if by micromanaging the process you can guarantee the result. But life does not answer to force, it answers to alignment. When your inner state accepts the outcome as already accomplished, outer events arrange themselves naturally, without strain. The how reveals itself, and the when is perfect. Yet neither were controlled by your restless hands. Think of a seed planted in the soil. You do not dig it up each day to check if it is growing. You do not shout at the earth demanding that it sprout on your timetable. You trust the process. You water it, you allow the sun to reach it, and then you leave it to grow in its own time. So it is with the desires of your heart. Once you have planted them in the unseen through assumption, your role is not to force, but to trust. The soil of life is fertile. It knows how to bring the seed to fruition. Faith without struggle means letting go of timelines. The anxious mind wants things immediately and despairs when they do not appear on schedule, but the unseen does not bend to impatience. What you call delay is often preparation. It is the aligning of details, the weaving together of people and circumstances so that when the blessing arrives, it comes in a way that is perfect, complete, and undeniable. The struggle is to interfere with this unseen arrangement. To rest is to allow it to unfold in divine order. This kind of faith is not passive. It does not mean doing nothing. It means acting from the place of inner certainty rather than desperation. It means speaking, walking, and choosing as one who already has the answer, not as one still begging for it. When you move in that spirit, your actions are powerful because they are aligned with the end result. And because the end is already assumed within, the outer world must eventually echo it. Release the need to control. Let go of the endless planning and the restless waiting. You do not need to know the mechanics, only the outcome. The blessing is yours, and what is yours is secure. When you stop pushing, you discover that the flow of life carries you forward more swiftly than your struggling ever could. Faith without struggle is the master key. It is the still heart that allows the invisible to reveal itself. And when you practice it, blessings arrive, not with strain, but with ease, often faster and greater than you dare to imagine. Living in the end is the art of placing yourself mentally and emotionally in the position of already being blessed, already having received what you once longed for. It is not pretending, nor is it wishful thinking. It is a deep shift of consciousness, a decision to dwell in the reality of fulfillment before the evidence appears. By doing so, you open the door for life to mirror that state back to you, often through gifts and manifestations that arrive in the most unexpected ways. When you live in the end, you no longer treat your desire as something distant or uncertain. You stop waiting for proof and instead carry the inner assurance that it is already so. This changes everything: your mood, your posture, your words, and even the way people respond to you. The outer world begins to reflect your inner conviction, not because you forced it to, but because you aligned yourself with the result instead of the lack. Most people live in the state of waiting. They say, one day I will be happy, one day I will be free, one day the blessing will come. But the very act of waiting pushes the blessing further away, because waiting assumes absence. To wait is to live in the end of not having. And so life responds faithfully to that assumption. But when you choose instead to live in the end of already having, the world cannot resist. It must deliver the reflection of your new state. This is why living in the end is so powerful. It removes the gap between you and your desire. You no longer reach for it. You no longer beg for it. You rest in it. You breathe as the person who already has it. You give thanks not as a plea, but as a recognition of what is already yours. And in that recognition, the invisible current moves swiftly to clothe your inner reality in outer form. It is important to understand that living in the end does not mean ignoring the present, nor does it mean denying what your senses report. It means giving more authority to the feeling of fulfillment within than to appearances without. Appearances are temporary, but inner states are creative. What you persist in feeling will harden into fact. Therefore, to feel the end already fulfilled is to set the law in motion. The outer must conform. Think of the actor who plays a role. They inhabit the character fully, speaking, walking, and moving as though they are that person. Though the audience knows it is a role, the performance is so convincing that the character seems alive. In the same way, when you inhabit the role of your fulfilled self, calm, grateful, at peace, you convince life itself. And unlike the stage, this performance becomes reality, because the unseen law takes your assumption as fact and arranges the world to match it. Living in the end is the doorway to unexpected blessings. You may not know how they will come, but you know they must. You may not see the exact channel, but you rest in the joy of already having. And from that rest, gifts will arrive, sudden opportunities, favorable encounters, solutions that appear as if by miracle. They are not miracles at all, but the natural result of your chosen state. When you live in the end, you live in the assurance of answered prayers, and life itself delights in proving you right. The truth is simple. Your blessing is not waiting on effort, struggle, or chance. It is waiting on you. When you stop leaning on logic and expectation, when you trust the invisible source, when you shift your assumptions, life responds in ways that astonish. The greatest manifestations are often the ones you never could have planned, yet they arrive with precision, proving that faith without struggle is enough. By living in the end, dwelling in the feeling of already being blessed, you step into the flow of life where every gift is already secured for you. The blessing you never expected is not far away. It is already moving toward you, drawn by the state you embody right now. Trust it, rest in it, and watch how effortlessly it appears. Thank you for listening, and may you step into the joy of knowing that your blessing is already here. You must understand this great secret. Every desire that arises in your heart is not random, it is not accidental. It is life itself, calling you, showing you what already belongs to you. The very fact that you feel the longing is evidence that it exists for you. You could not desire it if it were not already prepared. But most of us make the mistake of chasing, striving, and worrying. We push, we force, we beg reality to give us what we want. Yet this struggle only places it further away. For desire cannot be fulfilled through tension, only through surrender. What you seek is already moving toward you. The current of life is carrying it in your direction, but your restlessness causes you to row against the stream. Relax. Rest in the quiet, knowing that it is already done. Close your eyes and step into the inner vision of the wish fulfilled. Imagine it as though it were happening now. Feel the satisfaction of being the person who already has what they once desired. This inner assumption is the law. It creates the outer fact. Do not be deceived by appearances. The outer world may suggest lack, delay, or impossibility, but appearances are shadows, temporary reflections of old beliefs. Your unseen inner reality is far more powerful than the fleeting evidence of the senses. Hold the invisible as real, and the visible must bend to match it. Your desire is not separate from you. It is your own self, reaching out to meet itself. Just as a magnet pulls iron, what you seek is drawn by the same force that made you seek it. There is no separation. The longing in you is the proof of its presence. So be still. Let go of the anxious striving. Dwell in the end. Live in the joy of already having it, and watch as the world rearranges itself to deliver it into your hands. What you seek is seeking you, and when you relax, you allow it to find you. When a desire rises within you, it is not something foreign, it is not something coming from outside to tease you, it is the whisper of life itself, revealing to you what already belongs to you. Desire is not a cruel reminder of what you lack. It is the evidence of what is yours in another dimension of being, waiting to be claimed. The moment you feel a longing, that moment is proof that what you long for exists. You could not hunger for something that has no possibility of being satisfied. You could not thirst for water if water did not exist. In the same way, you could not crave love, abundance, freedom, or purpose if these things were not already present for you, awaiting your recognition. Most people misinterpret desire as evidence of absence. They say, I want it, therefore I do not have it. But that is a false reading of the signal. The desire itself is a promise, a sign, a messenger that you and your wish are already one. It is your inner self announcing, this is yours. Walk toward it in faith. You are not desiring something out of reach. You are desiring something because life is ready to bring it through you and to you. Think of it this way. No artist paints without first seeing the image in imagination. The painting exists within before the brush ever touches the canvas. So it is with your life. The longing you feel is the sketch within, the first draft of the masterpiece that already exists in potential. You need not struggle to make it real. You need only allow yourself to dwell in the feeling that it already is. Your acceptance of it, your resting in the reality of it, is the bridge by which it moves from the unseen to the seen. Every great invention, every act of love, every fortune gained began as a desire. The world we live in today was first felt by someone who believed in the unseen. Airplanes existed in the imagination of man before they flew across the sky. Light bulbs existed as a desire before they lit up the world. The desire was the proof, the seed, the inner fact from which the outer fact was born. So when you desire, know that you are standing on the edge of its fulfillment. The seed is already planted, and the harvest must come in due season. When you long for something, do not dismiss it as fantasy. Do not treat it as something far away. Hold it as a signpost, a divine indicator pointing you to what is already yours. Live in the end of it. Feel the reality of it now. The more you accept desire as proof, the faster you dissolve the sense of lack. And as lack dissolves, the thing you desire has no choice but to appear in your world, clothed in the form of people, events, and circumstances. So never run from your desires. They are not curses, they are blessings. They are not reminders of what is missing. They are confirmations of what is given. Trust the voice of longing within you, for it is the announcement of fulfillment already secured. You desire because it already exists. We have been taught from childhood that effort is the key to everything. Push harder, work longer, strain your mind and body until the goal bends to your will. But in truth, effort often creates resistance. The more you try to force something, the more you affirm that it is not yet yours. The harder you struggle to make it happen, the further you push it away, because you are standing in the vibration of lack and striving. You cannot hold tightly to something you believe is missing and expect it to arrive easily. Imagine trying to catch water in your hand. If you squeeze your fist, the water slips away. But if you relax your hand and let it rest open, the water gathers and stays. This is how desire works. Effortful striving is the closed fist. Relaxation, trust, and acceptance is the open hand. What you long for flows in naturally when you release the tension that blocks it. When you are tense and desperate, you are declaring to life, I do not have what I want. I must fight for it. I must prove myself. Life responds by reflecting more struggle, more delay, more waiting. But when you are calm and confident, when you release the inner fight and dwell in quiet certainty, life mirrors that back as ease, synchronicity, and fulfillment. Your outer world always reveals the inner climate. If you are restless within, the outer will remain unsettled. But when you are at peace, the outer world begins to align with that peace. Think of the times in your life when you received something effortlessly. The phone call came without you chasing it. The opportunity appeared the moment you stopped worrying. The person you longed for showed up when you let go of fear. These are not accidents. They are the natural consequence of relaxation. By relaxing, you step into harmony with the flow of life, and the flow delivers exactly what belongs to you. Effort comes from a place of disbelief. Relaxation comes from trust. Effort says, I must make this happen. Relaxation says, it is already mine. I only need to allow it to unfold. There is a vast difference between inspired action and desperate action. Inspired action flows naturally from relaxation. It is effortless, joyful, and aligned. Desperate action, born of strain, creates resistance and keeps the desire just beyond reach. Life does not respond to tension, it responds to faith. The seed does not force itself to grow, it relaxes into the soil and allows the process to unfold. You too must learn to rest in the unseen certainty that your desire is germinating. If you dig it up every day with worry and effort, you delay its growth. But if you rest, nurture it with faith, and give it space, it blossoms at the right moment. So release the need to push, to strain, to force. Relax and know that the very thing you desire is already moving toward you. Open the door by quiet trust. What you long for cannot resist an open, relaxed heart. The harder you try, the more you close your fist, the more you relax, the more easily life places the gift in your hands. Imagination is not a child's game nor a fleeting daydream without consequence. It is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, the unseen and the seen. Every great change, every invention, every moment of transformation in human history began in imagination first. The inner vision you carry is the seed from which your outer reality must grow. Nothing appears in your world that was not first planted as an image in the fertile soil of your mind. Look at the chair you sit on, the building you live in, the device you hold in your hand. Before these things took form, they were ideas, mere pictures in the mind of someone who dared to believe in what did not yet exist. The bridge was their imagination. They saw it first within, and only then could it become flesh in the world. If it works for simple objects like houses and inventions, how much more does it work for the deeper desires of your life? Love, success, freedom, abundance. Imagination is the language of creation. It allows you to step beyond the limitations of your current circumstances and dwell in the reality you wish to live. When you imagine, you are not pretending. You are rehearsing reality in the invisible, rehearsing it so deeply that it begins to crystallize into form. The mistake many make is dismissing imagination as fantasy. But imagination is more real than the facts you see now, because facts are only past creations, results of old visions. Imagination is creation in its rawest, most powerful stage. Think of your mind as a garden. Every image you hold with feeling is a seed planted in the soil of your being. If you plant seeds of fear, doubt, and worry, they grow into a reality that matches them. If you plant seeds of joy, love, and abundance, they too must grow into your world. You cannot sow one thing and reap another. The law is exact. That is why the inner vision you choose to dwell upon is so important. It becomes the outer life you live. Imagination is the bridge, not only because it carries you from desire to fulfillment, but because it allows you to live now in the state you long for. When you imagine the wish fulfilled, when you see yourself already in possession of what you desire, you shift your inner state. You begin to walk as though it were already true. And as your inner state changes, life arranges itself to reflect it. Events, people, and circumstances move in mysterious ways to bring the outer into alignment with the inner picture. The great secret is this: you do not wait for reality to change before you imagine. You imagine first, and reality is compelled to follow. It has no choice. Imagination is the cause, the world is the effect. Hold the bridge steady, and you will cross from the invisible to the visible. So give your attention to the vision you love, not the one you fear. Walk across the bridge of imagination daily. See it, feel it, live it inwardly until it becomes so natural that the outer world has no choice but to mirror it. What you see inside is not a dream. It is tomorrow's reality taking form today. Assumption is the key that unlocks the unseen into the seen. To assume something is not to hope, not to beg, not to wait. It is to take it as already accomplished within yourself. When you assume it is already yours, you are living in the end. And life, like a perfect mirror, reflects that end back to you. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is not an empty game of imagination. It is the seed of transformation that shapes your entire experience of reality. When you long for something and yet constantly affirm that it is far away, you keep yourself in the state of waiting. You are saying, "It is not here yet. I hope one day it comes." Life has no choice but to echo that state and keep it always ahead of you, always on the horizon. But when you dare to assume that it is already here, that it is already accomplished, you collapse the distance between desire and fulfillment. You step into the vibration of completion, and the outer world reorganizes itself to match the inner shift. Living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled means carrying yourself as the person who already has what they once desired. If abundance is your wish, walk as though you are already abundant, not in arrogance, but in quiet confidence. If love is your wish, dwell in the warmth of being already cherished. If freedom is your desire, breathe as though nothing binds you. By embodying the state now, you create the only condition necessary for it to appear outwardly. You cannot trick life by pretending for a moment and then falling back into doubt. Assumption is not a fleeting thought. It is a dwelling place, a new identity. You must persist in the inner knowing even when the outer facts contradict you. For the outer world is but a shadow of past assumptions. It takes time for the new seed to grow and bear fruit. But if you remain faithful to the inner reality, the outer must eventually align. Think of an actor who takes on a role. They wear the costume, speak the lines, and embody the character fully. Though they know they are acting, for the duration of the play, they live in that role completely. Life itself is like this. The role you assume inwardly becomes the script you live outwardly. The difference is that here, the stage of reality does not end when the curtain falls. It continues to expand according to the role you persist in playing. Assumption is not arrogance. It is faith. It is not about forcing yourself to believe, but about gently choosing to rest in the end result. You do not need to know how it will come. You do not need to manipulate events or people. Your task is only to assume the state and live in it inwardly. The how belongs to life. The when unfolds naturally. So assume it is already yours. Stand in the feeling of having received. Walk as the one who has already become what they desired. This is not delusion, it is creation. For as within, so without. Life is the faithful servant of your assumption, and it will never fail to mirror back to you the state you dare to occupy. What your eyes behold is only the surface, the final stage of a much deeper process. The visible world is the effect, not the cause. It is the shadow, not the substance. What is unseen? Your thoughts, your imagination, your beliefs, your assumptions. These are the forces shaping what later appears in form. The unseen is more real than the seen because it is eternal and creative, while the seen is temporary and passive. To live only by what the senses show you is to live in illusion, for the senses always report the past, never the living cause. Consider a seed buried in the soil. You cannot see the root taking form. You cannot witness the silent power that pushes through the darkness and begins to grow. But you trust the process because you know unseen activity is at work. Soon the sprout breaks through the surface, but long before it appeared above the ground, it was alive beneath it. So it is with your desires. The moment you imagine and assume, the process begins. Though your senses show nothing beneath the surface, life is arranging, shifting, moving to bring it into form. Most people lose heart because they worship the evidence of the senses. They say, I see no change, so nothing is happening. But that is like digging up a seed every day to check if it is growing. Impatience and doubt only delay the unfolding. The wise one trusts the invisible process, knowing that the unseen is already alive and working. What is invisible today becomes visible tomorrow. What you cannot yet touch is already touching you from another dimension. Think about the air you breathe. You cannot see it, but it sustains you. Gravity holds you to the earth, though your eyes never behold it. Sound waves carry music, though they are invisible. Electricity lights up your home, though you cannot see its current. The most powerful forces of life are unseen. Why then would you doubt that unseen thought, belief, and imagination are the true powers behind all manifestation? The seen is only the echo. The unseen is the voice. To trust the invisible is to live by faith, not by sight. It is to stand steady when appearances tell you nothing has changed. It is to believe in the harvest while the field looks empty. The unseen is always at work, weaving the tapestry that will soon hang before your eyes. Do not be fooled by the silence of the senses. The stillness of the surface is not the stillness of reality. It is the quiet before the breakthrough. So hold fast to your inner vision. Guard it as sacred. Even if the world shows contradiction, trust the process that cannot be seen. For the unseen is the true cause, and the seen is merely its shadow. When you learn to live from the invisible, you live from power. When you learn to rest in what cannot yet be touched, you align with the creative force that governs all things. Trust the invisible, for it is more real than what your eyes behold. And soon the unseen will step forth, clothed in visible form. Desire is not one-sided. When you yearn for something deeply, it is not only you reaching toward it, it is also reaching toward you. What you seek is also seeking you. The very thing you long for carries within it an energy, a pull, a vibration that matches your own. Desire is not a chase, it is a meeting. It is like a magnet drawn irresistibly to its counterpart. You do not run after it across the world, you align with it, and it finds its way to you. The moment a desire rises within you, it sets into motion a current that moves both ways. It is not you against the universe, it is you in harmony with the universe. If you crave love, understand that love is already searching for you. If you dream of wealth, know that abundance is already moving toward your vibration. If you long for peace, peace is also longing to enter your life. Desire is evidence of a union that already exists, waiting for the meeting point of belief and acceptance. Too often we live as though we are chasing after shadows. We strain, we push, we cling, believing that our desires are running from us. Yet the truth is the opposite. They are drawn to us with the same force we are drawn to them. When you stop running, when you pause and relax, you allow the meeting to happen naturally. The magnet does not strain to attract, it simply is. And by being, it pulls its match close. You too must learn to stand in your being, confident, still, assured, and life will bring to you that which belongs to you. Every great love story, every achievement, every answered prayer is proof of this law. The artist longs to express beauty, and the art itself longs to be born. The inventor yearns to create, and the invention yearns to exist. The seeker longs for truth, and truth longs to be revealed. The meeting place is imagination and faith, the willingness to believe that you are not chasing but attracting, not struggling but receiving. This is why your inner state is so important. If you are filled with doubt, fear, and resistance, you block the natural pull of your desire. It is seeking you, but you are pushing it away by insisting on its absence. Yet, if you rest in trust, if you live in the assumption that is already yours, the attraction becomes effortless. It must come because it cannot resist the magnet of a mind that is already living in the end. Think of two lovers separated by distance, each longing for the other. That longing is the proof of their union. It draws them together until circumstances arrange the meeting. This is the same with your desires. They are alive, they are real, they are not idle fantasies. They are the other half of your being, calling you, reaching for you, seeking to complete themselves in your life. So stop chasing, stop doubting, stop fearing. Stand still in the knowledge that what you want is already wanting you, like a magnet meeting its match. The pull is irresistible, the union inevitable. Your task is only to allow the meeting point by faith, by assumption, by living now in the state of having. What you seek is already on its way, because it is as eager to find you as you are to find it. The truth is simple yet powerful. What you desire is already yours in the unseen. Desire is not absence, but proof of fulfillment. Strain and effort only build walls, while relaxation opens the way. Imagination bridges the invisible to the visible, and assumption anchors you in the reality of already having. The unseen is the true cause of life, and it works silently on your behalf. And remember always, what you seek is seeking you. It longs for you as much as you long for it. The first word is made up of 3 manipulable words. So rest in faith, live in the end, and trust the process. Life is faithful to mirror your inner state. Stand still in confidence, and you will see your desires clothed in form. Thank you. There comes a moment in your journey when silence surrounds you. You have prayed, you have imagined, you have believed, yet there seems to be no answer. No movement, no sign, no evidence. In that stillness, most turn back in doubt. But those who truly know understand this. When you hear nothing, expect God's everything. The silence is not rejection. The silence is creation. It is in the invisible that the visible is born. Just as a seed beneath the soil makes no sound as it breaks open, so too does your desire take root in stillness before it bursts into life. Do not mistake the quiet for emptiness. The quiet is the fullness of God arranging every detail in your favor. You are not being ignored. You are being answered in ways far beyond what your senses can yet perceive. When the outer ear hears nothing, turn inward. See the end fulfilled. Rest in the vision of your answered prayer. Feel the joy of it already done. In that acceptance, the silence becomes your greatest ally, for it is the whisper of the unseen moving mountains for you. Impatience will rob you of peace, but trust will anchor you in certainty. The one who waits in faith is not truly waiting at all. They are living in the assurance that what was asked is already theirs. What seems delayed is only arriving in its perfect hour. So do not panic when the heavens are still. Do not collapse when there are no signs. Instead, smile with certainty, for the silence is proof that the work is already complete. When you hear nothing, expect God's everything. And when it arrives, you will see that not a single moment of waiting was wasted. Silence from God is not absence, it is preparation for manifestation. When you stand in the middle of life's stillness and you feel as though the heavens have closed their ears, understand that this silence is not emptiness but fullness in disguise. It is not God turning his face from you, but rather God preparing the stage upon which your answered prayer will be revealed. The silence is the womb of creation, the sacred pause between what is asked and what is received. To the mind bound by impatience, silence feels like denial. Yet to the one who understands, silence is confirmation that something invisible is already in motion. Consider the seed placed deep into the earth. It makes no sound as it begins to split open. Yet the silence of the soil is not a refusal of growth. Beneath the quiet darkness, a process is taking place that no eye can see and no ear can hear. The silence protects the miracle until the right time arrives for it to pierce the surface. If you judged only by sound, you would say nothing is happening. But in truth, everything is happening. The same is true of the silence you encounter from God. It is not absence, it is gestation, not rejection, but divine arrangement. The silence demands of you trust. It calls you to rest in the unseen, to believe in what your senses cannot yet touch. If you surrender to fear, you will misinterpret the silence as abandonment. But if you anchor yourself in faith, you will see it as the most certain evidence that your prayers already answered. Faith is not proven when you receive immediately. Faith is proven when you stand in silence and declare it is done. That is the posture of one who understands that silence is holy preparation. When you feel that heaven is quiet, remember that orchestras rehearse in silence before their music fills the air. Builders work in hidden spaces before a house is revealed. The masterpiece is painted stroke by stroke long before it is displayed. So it is with your desire. The silence is God rehearsing, building, arranging, painting. Every thread is being woven into the tapestry of your answered prayer. Do not despise the silence. Embrace it. Within it lies the evidence that God is nearer than you think. The silence means that the work is beyond your sight, beyond your control, and fully in His hands. And when the silence breaks, it will not break with fragments, but with fullness. The manifestation will come whole, complete, and overflowing, leaving no doubt that it was being prepared all along. So stand still in your quiet seasons. Breathe deeply and know the silence is not void, but abundance forming. Trust the invisible, for it is more powerful than the visible. Silence from God is not absence, it is the sound of destiny arranging itself for your good. The unseen realm is always working, even when the outer world is quiet. Life is not limited to what you see with your eyes or hear with your ears. The visible world is only the surface, like the skin of the ocean, but beneath it lies an entire depth of currents, unseen yet powerful. In the same way, when the outer world seems still, when nothing appears to be moving in your favor, the invisible realm is already arranging, shifting, and aligning everything for the manifestation of your desire. What looks like inactivity to the natural senses is often the busiest moment in the spirit. Think of a tree in the depth of winter. Its branches are bare, its leaves gone, and to the eye it appears lifeless. Yet deep within the roots, beneath the frozen earth, life is stirring. Energy is moving, nourishment is flowing, preparation is underway for the season of bloom. Though no one sees it, the unseen is alive with activity. So too in your own life, when circumstances look cold, still or unchanging, remember that God's unseen hand is already at work in ways you cannot measure. This is why you must not allow the silence of the outer world to deceive you into despair. What you cannot see is often greater than what you can see. The unseen realm governs the seen. Everything that appears in your life today was once invisible. Every answer, every blessing, every door that opens begins in the unseen before it takes form. To judge your life only by appearances is to deny the truth that the invisible is always the cause and the visible only the effect. Consider the air you breathe. You do not see it, yet it sustains your every moment. The heart beats unseen within your chest, and without it your body would cease. Electricity flows invisibly through wires, yet it lights your world. Just because something cannot be observed with your natural senses does not mean it is not working. The unseen realm is the foundation of all that exists. When you pray, when you imagine, when you believe, you have already set into motion a movement in the unseen. It may not be visible yet in the physical world, but that does not mean it is absent. It is already forming, already aligning, already arranging itself to meet you at the perfect time. The outer stillness is only the pause before the arrival. This is why you must rest in trust rather than in fear. Fear tells you that nothing is happening, but faith assures you that everything is happening. The silence of the visible world is no measure of the activity in the invisible one. Just as stars continue to shine even when clouds hide them, the unseen realm continues to work even when appearances show nothing. So let your heart be steady in the quiet. Do not be troubled when nothing appears to move. Behind the curtain of the scene, the greatest activity is unfolding. The unseen realm is always working, and soon what was invisible will break forth into the visible as your answered prayer Desire planted in the heart is already a divine promise of fulfillment. The very fact that you long for something with sincerity, with depth, and with persistence is proof that it has already been prepared for you. You could not hunger for something that did not already exist. Just as thirst is evidence that water is real, and hunger is proof that food exists, desire is the sign that your dream has substance in the unseen. It is not your mind's random imagination. It is the whisper of God within you, revealing what is already yours in spirit. Every genuine desire that rises in you is not there by accident. It has been placed within your heart to guide you, to move you, and to awaken you to the life that is waiting. You do not create desire. You discover it. You awaken to it, as though it has been calling you all along. When you recognize this, you stop questioning whether you are worthy of it, or whether it is possible. Because the very presence of the desire is the answer. It says, yes, this belongs to you. Yes, this is already written. Imagine a seed held in the palm of your hand. The moment you see it, you know it holds within itself the promise of a tree, of fruit, of shade, of countless possibilities. You do not question if the tree is real, simply because it has not yet broken the soil. You trust the process of time and nature to bring it forth. The same is true of the desires in your heart. They are seeds, divine promises already written in eternity, waiting to take root in your faith and action until they manifest in your reality. Too often people dismiss their desires as wishful thinking or fantasy. They think wanting something means it is distant, unreachable, or unlikely. But in truth, desire is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. It is the first evidence that your soul has touched something eternal and is now drawing it into form. If you did not already possess it in spirit, you could never even imagine it. Desire is possession in the unseen. When you honor your desires instead of doubting them, you align yourself with the very force that gave them to you. Trust that they are not meant to torment you, but to fulfill you. Desire is not a sign of lack. It is a sign of destiny. It does not arise to remind you of what you do not have, but to call you toward what is already prepared for you. So when your heart longs for love, know that love already exists for you. When your spirit reaches for abundance, know that abundance is already written in your story. When your soul aches for purpose, know that purpose is already planted within you. The desire itself is the divine promise, the seed of fulfillment already alive. Do not doubt the desires of your heart. They are whispers of the unseen telling you what is already yours. Desire planted in the heart is not a maybe, not a possibility. It is a certainty, waiting for its hour of manifestation. Waiting without fear is proof of faith. Impatience is proof of doubt. True faith is not measured in the moments when everything goes your way, but in the seasons when nothing seems to move. It is easy to trust when the answer comes quickly, but the depth of belief is revealed when you must stand still in the silence of waiting. In those moments when the mind tempts you with fear and the world shows no evidence of change, your heart must choose. Will I rest in trust, or will I give in to doubt? Faith is quiet strength. It is the confidence that even if today looks unchanged, the unseen is already working on your behalf. To wait without fear is to declare, I know it is already done. I may not see it yet, but it is mine. That calm expectancy is the posture of true faith. It is not restless. It does not demand signs. It does not beg for proof. It simply stands, knowing the invisible has already secured the visible. Impatience, on the other hand, is the child of doubt. When you grow restless and begin to force, chase, or worry, it reveals that deep down you do not truly believe. Impatience says, if I do not act now, it will not happen. Doubt makes you rush, panic, or settle for less than what is meant for you. But waiting with peace is a demonstration that you trust God's timing more than your own. Think of a farmer who plants his seed. He does not return to the soil every hour to dig it up and check its progress. He does not demand that the seed hurry into bloom. He knows that time and unseen forces are working. He waters it, tends to it, and then rests, trusting the process. Impatience would make him destroy the very harvest he is waiting for. In the same way, when you grow anxious in your waiting, you disturb the very process designed to bring your desire into form. Faith calls you to wait with stillness, not with despair. It asks you to hold the vision of fulfillment in your heart as though it has already arrived. Fear whispers that silence means nothing is happening. But faith assures you that silence is only the pause before manifestation. The difference between the two is the posture of your soul. If you can wait with peace, you have already won. For the waiting itself becomes proof that you believe. Impatience will tempt you, but it never leads to the fullness of your desire. It leads to exhaustion, frustration, and doubt. But patience born of faith allows you to receive in perfect timing. What is yours will never miss you, but it must arrive when the ground is ready. To wait without fear is not weakness, it is strength. It is choosing trust over panic, certainty over doubt, and peace over striving. So do not rush. Do not allow fear to push you into restlessness. Rest in the assurance that your desire is already answered. Waiting without fear is the greatest proof of your faith, and it guarantees that when the hour is right, what you long for will arrive, complete, perfect, and undeniable. The moment you hear nothing, you must assume everything is unfolding perfectly. Silence is not a void, but a hidden assurance. It is the pause between prayer and manifestation, the unseen work of the divine arranging every detail. When nothing is heard, nothing is seen, and nothing seems to change, that is the very moment you must choose to rest in trust rather than collapse into doubt. The silence does not mean that nothing is happening. It means everything is happening exactly as it should. The mind, bound by impatience, craves constant reassurance. It wants signs, proofs, confirmations, and visible progress. Yet the spirit knows that true creation often takes place in stillness. Think of the painter who works behind closed doors. For days or weeks, no one sees the strokes of the brush, yet the masterpiece is taking form. To the outside observer, nothing is happening, but in reality, everything is unfolding in perfection. The same is true of your life. Just because you cannot see the movement does not mean it is absent. The silence is the shelter under which the work is being perfected. This is why you must assume in the quiet that all is well. To assume is to accept without resistance. It is to align yourself with the end result and trust that what you have asked for is already delivered in the unseen. Assumption is not fantasy. It is faith in action. It is saying, though I see nothing, I know everything is already mine. That kind of certainty turns silence into comfort rather than torment. Nature itself testifies to this truth. Seeds lie buried in the soil, unseen and unheard, until their moment of breakthrough comes. The earth gives no daily report of their progress, yet roots are stretching, life is forming, and growth is assured. Imagine the folly of digging up a seed every day to check its progress. It would only destroy the very life trying to emerge. So too in your journey, when you hear nothing, resist the urge to doubt. Trust the silence as a sign of growth hidden beneath the surface. The perfection of timing is also woven into the silence. What seems like delay is not denial, but divine order. A prayer answered too soon might arrive unfinished. A dream manifested prematurely may crumble under its own weight. But when it comes in its rightful hour, it comes whole, strong, and undeniable. The silence ensures readiness not only of circumstances but also of your own spirit. Therefore, do not let the quiet make you restless. Do not let the absence of sound convince you of the absence of movement. Instead, use the silence as a reminder that God works most powerfully in ways unseen. The stillness is your invitation to deepen your faith, to trust without proof, to rest in certainty rather than striving. The moment you hear nothing, lift your heart in quiet confidence and say, "This silence is the sign that everything is unfolding perfectly for me." Hold that posture, and in time, the invisible will break into the visible, proving that the silence was not emptiness, but divine perfection in progress. What appears delayed is actually divinely timed to arrive in fullness. Delay is never denial when you are walking in faith. It is the careful arrangement of events, people, and circumstances so that what you received will not come half-formed, but whole. To the impatient heart, waiting feels like punishment. To the awakened spirit, waiting is preparation. The outer world may tell you that your desire is taking too long, but in truth, it is being perfected in the unseen, gathering weight and substance so that when it arrives, it will lack nothing. Think of a fruit plucked before its time. Though it may look appealing, it lacks sweetness, depth, and nourishment. It is not ready. The same applies to the desires of your heart. If they came too quickly, before you were prepared or before the circumstances were aligned, they would not carry the fullness of blessing. Divine timing is never about withholding. It is about ensuring ripeness. What appears as a delay is in fact the guarantee of completeness. The seasons of nature speak this truth. Winter does not mean death, it is a season of hidden growth, where roots deepen and the soil prepares for spring. If you judge the trees in winter, you might assume they were barren forever. Yet the delay of blossoms is not their end. It is the assurance that, at the appointed time, life will burst forth in fullness. Your desires are no different. Just because their spring has not yet appeared does not mean they are lost. They are waiting for the perfect season to reveal their beauty. The human mind often wants control, demanding that answers come now in the way we expect and on the schedule we set. But divine wisdom operates beyond time as we measure it. The delay you perceive is not wasted time, but sacred time. It is in this space that you are strengthened, that your faith is deepened, and that you are prepared to handle what you asked for. Sometimes the delay is not in the thing itself, but in you, your growth, your capacity, your readiness. When you trust in divine timing, you release the need to rush. You begin to understand that what belongs to you cannot miss you. If it seems to take longer, it is only because it is arriving greater than you imagined. The fullness of what is meant for you requires patience. Like a symphony, each instrument must come in at the right moment for the music to be complete. If one part rushed ahead of the other, the harmony would be lost. In the same way, your life's desires must unfold in rhythm, not chaos. So when it feels as though nothing is happening, remind yourself this is not a delay, it is an alignment. This is not denial, it is preparation. The promise is never lost, it is only waiting for its perfect hour. Trust that the fullness of your desire will not arrive too early, nor too late, but exactly when it should. What appears delayed is not delay at all. It is the divine timing that ensures you receive not fragments, but the whole blessing, complete and overflowing. The silence you face is not emptiness, it is the womb of manifestation. The unseen realm is alive, always working, even when your world appears still. The very desires planted in your heart are not accidents, but divine promises already written, waiting for their appointed hour. To wait without fear is to demonstrate unshakable faith, for impatience is only the mask of doubt. And in the moments when nothing is heard, you must rest in the assurance that everything is unfolding with perfection. What you call delay is not delay at all, but divine timing, preparing to deliver your blessing in fullness. So stand firm in the quiet, rest in the unseen, trust the desires of your heart, for they are the whispers of God telling you what is already yours. When you hear nothing, expect everything, because silence is not the end, it is the beginning of the manifestation of your prayer. Thank you.